Okay.
That should be easy.
The only clarification is
the
that
Senator,
the use of
witness,
static. Yes.
Witness,
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
Let me make it easier. The Senator is referring to the assisted MCAs. If they're not assisted, then they can log in at the same time because they're not assisted.
Yes.
But these ones were being assisted.
I
So you assist one,
yes.
you clear with one, then you go assist the other one. Now his concern is the efficiency that was deployed in that in assisting.
We had two ICT officers within the chambers, and we have the static IP. I think the issue came from the static IP that we are using in the chambers.
Senator Boni.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Alfred Korir,
yes,
you have truly impressed me with your honesty when you're responding to the question raised by the two young lawyers from the governor's side. I would like you to uphold that standard. And the question is this. Cybersecurity expects the highest standards. The reason why end-to-end encryption is the standard, specifically to address what is disturbing us now, namely to make it impossible for unauthorized persons to access the system.
yes.
So given that you honestly accepted that your system is not foolproof, do you still want the Senate to use your evidence to remove the governor when it was porous? That's question number one. The last question, since you've said you're the expert, who asked you to advise the County Assembly of KERICHO to use a system which you, the expert, knew was porous?
Senator Beatrice Akinyi.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Speaker. Other than policies of the KERICHO County, e-voting systems must comply with other national existing legal and regulatory frameworks. Is there any nationally that you think you may not have complied with?
Senator Thangwa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Yes, it is true. An assembly can have a static IP address. That is the router. But that router will give different IP addresses to all the gadgets. So you cannot have an IP address the same from each gadget. I'm an IP expert, IT expert. My question is, yeah, verified. My question is, it is hypothetical, Mr. Speaker. From the IT department of KERICHO Assembly, can you recommend your system to IEBC so that probably they can use this system in the next general election? That's one. And question number two, Mr. Speaker, question number two, we have seen that one IP address voted about 9 times. My question is to the Council for the Governor. Are these 9 people who are voted for the one who have already done an affidavit to say they were voted for? Those are my questions. But, Mr. Speaker, this is a classic case of a proxy voting system. Thank you.
Senator Moma.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. To the witness, the matter before the Senate is for us to determine whether there was a valid vote taken in respect of the impeachment of the governor how many MCAs voted, and I would want you to indicate how many MCAs were present, how many voted, and can you confirm that nobody voted for any MCA? Is that evidence before us?
Senator Kisang, order Senator for Narok County.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, mine are two questions. Question number one is, who made the decision to use a system that had not been used before on a critical matter like this? Secondly, as the County Assembly of KERICHO, are you registered as a data processor and data controller or not? Number three is, as an IT expert, yourself and myself, I have 34 years of practice. Did you send the IBBD numbers and IT number and ID numbers as bulk, or you sent to each person individually? And what was the use of using? Because I believe each MCA, they know their own IBBD numbers and they know their IDs. Do you have a system also to regularly assist the MCAs to change their passwords? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Eddy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The expert in the House, yesterday when you argued on the principles and requirements of a secure e-system, you argued that ID was the best to use for password generation. Yet we know that any member of the public's ID numbers are everywhere in the county documents. So why was there no other, or do you have any other way that you could be able to have given password access? For instance, generation of OTPs, so that it is a second layer verification. Number two, this was the first time you are adjusting the existing system to a voting system. And therefore you say that you designed this system to meet that in the shortest time possible. In an event where Senator Kajwang has asked for us to access the logs, and the governor side to access the logs, in an event where you cannot share with us that, can you share with us a rational unified process, especially looking at the project duration and software increments that you did? Can you share with us that in this house, or can you take us through your RUP process?
Senator Lelegwe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Alfred, I want to point you to page 12, where it's contained, where message confirmation report is contained on electronic voting link. In that page, I wanted you to confirm whether that link is manually or system generated.
Are you done, Senator?
Two, if it's system generated, why is entry number 13 a 25-digit number while all others are 24-digit number?
Senator Chute.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. To the witness, it is your evidence that you've said each member takes a minute. And on page 29 to page 32, 9 persons voted on the same IP address. And it is your evidence also, said there are 2 devices in the premises. So the IP address is on a particular device. So my question is, unless you want us to remove the governor on a flimsy excuse, why should you use the same IP address? That takes 1 minute for each person. That's already 9 minutes. how is it possible that these people took 9 minutes to vote on the same IP address? Definitely they've used a system. So tell this Honorable House, how did it happen that you used 9 minutes for 9 persons? Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wanted to know from the witness, for how long have they been using the electronic voting system in the County Assembly of KERICHO? That is point number 1. Number 2, I also wanted to know, in the event of system failure, which system have they kept in place to assist the members of County Assembly of KERICHO to vote? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Bwana Speaker. Swali langu ni kwa mkurugenzi wa IT. Hii ni mara ya pili ya kutumua gavana wa KERICHO. Na unajua kuna two-third. Katika kona zote, kila kitu yote siku hizi ni IT. Kama ni kwa election, kama ni nini, siku hizi watu warudi kwa numbers. Na kama ulikuwa unataka kusaidia watu wa KERICHO na Kenya mzima, kwa nini wakati kazi ilianza ya kufuati, wakati system ileta shida, kwa sababu macho yote ilikuwa kwa wewe hata kama uko ndani ya shamba, kwa nini au kusimamisha mara moja ndio uweze kusema system ni mbaya, ndio uweze kusema kuwaambia, kwa sababu wakati wa voting ndio uweze waende kusema kutafuta watu wawili wa kusema yes na no wasimamishwe pale, ndio waweze kupata two-third. Bwana Speaker, swali langu ni hilo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. My question to the witness is, I want to know if this Peter on page 15 of volume 4A and 16 and 17 who tried to log in so many times and the login failed, if he was ever assisted to vote. And I would also want to ask, this is a very heavy matter of impeachment, and when we look at the system, it had problems. How come you continued with it and allowed MCAs to vote through the same system which had difficulties in voting for an impeachment? This is a heavy matter. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Wamatinga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My question goes to the IT expert. You know, in the age of cybersecurity, I waited for you to mention what kind of firewalls you had put to ensure that we do not have unlawful intrusion. If you did have such a firewall, would you kindly provide us with the logs that showed that there were people who attempted to log in and they were actually denied entry? The second question is, why was it not easy for you to use randomly generated passwords instead of you designated passwords to the MCAs which could be manipulated? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Shakila.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is unfortunate today we are doing the job or the work of the MCAs on how they voted, whether they voted or not, which is not our work as a Senate, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we can as well call those the MCAs to come and vote here to establish the truth of the matter, because it seems now the doubt is how they voted, who didn't vote, and how many times, which is not our work. We are here, when a governor is brought here, we look at the issues and impeach the governor, or we save him. But now we're doing the work of the MCAs, Mr. Speaker. That is not the work of this House. It is very unfortunate. We either bring those MCAs here to vote before the eyes of the senators, to establish the truth of the matter and close this case once and for all. Thank you, Mr.
Senator
Speaker.
Wakoli.
No question there.
Asante.
Order, honorable senators. Senator Wakoli, you may proceed.
Mheshimiwa Spika, kulingana na mawasilishi ya mawakili, kumekuwa na mtafaruku kwamba kuna wale walipiga kura kupitia simu na wengine kupitia vipatakalishi. Langu ni je, ama kwa Wakenya waelewe, ni kina nani walipiga kura kupitia simu za rununu na wangapi walitumia kompyuta? Pili, kulingana na uweledi wa mtaalamu huyu, kuna thibitisho kupitia kanda ya video kama sasa jumba la Senate wa Kenya wanafuata moja kwa moja. Kuna thibitisho kwamba waliopiga kura walikuwa ndani ya jumba la County Assembly, ama ni wapiga kura hewa ambao tu kupitia nambari ulizosema wanathibitishwa. Na mwisho kabisa, wewe kama mtaalamu, iwaje hauelewi mfumo, mbinu ama sheria ambazo zapaswa viongozi katika jumba la county kupiga kura? Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Senator Morango James.
Asante sana Mstahiki Spika. Nilikuwa nimezima kwa sababu swali nilikuwa nataka kuuliza lilikuwa na Senator Wakoli.
Then take your seat, Senator Methu.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I would just want to confirm from the witness who is on the stand, and the witness has taken an oath. There are so many documents here. The witness on the stand has sworn with the Bible. Mr. Witness, just a confirmation. Is it your position before God and before the Senate that indeed that 3 MCAs voted or 28 MCAs voted? That would be my first concern. And the second one, do you actually also know the implication of the oath that you have taken before this House if it is later found out, indeed because it can be found out, that not 33 MCAs voted and 28 voted? Do you actually know the implication of that oath that you have taken as a witness before this House?
Senator Abbas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If you go to volume 4A, page 12, if you look at the bulk SMS that has been sent, if you look at the bulk of SMS that has been sent, there are 28 out of the 47. So why did the member send, I mean the witness sent only 28 and not 47 as a bulk SMS? Two, you have 47 MCAs, and I think they are all in the chamber at that time. Where are those who abstained and those who have not voted against the governor?
Senator Olekina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me just get some clarification in terms of the IP addresses. I was listening to the counsel for the governor cross-examining the witness and referred to the issue of the IP address. And the first question which was asked, which is what I want clarity, is whether or not one device or 2 devices can use the same IP address. That is the question. Number 2, the question goes to the witness. I want to know whether at the KERICHO County Assembly there is a Wi-Fi router or all the MCAs vote using their unique phone numbers. Whether there is one Wi-Fi router that produces one static IP address that is shared among several devices, or whether each of those members of the assembly are using their own phones to be able to vote. And finally, whether the device which was used based on the IP addresses listed on page 29, 30, and 31, the one that you allege were assisted voters, whether the laptop which was used to exercise this vote was sharing the same IP address or the same router or the same Wi-Fi, because I heard you saying that you get fiber from Safaricom. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Witness, you may now respond to those queries.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Senators. I'll start by the question about the Wi-Fi and the users within the assembly. We have a Wi-Fi that is dedicated to the chambers, and I've said it has a static IP. That's why it's picking exact IP all along. But I'll make my assistant come and clarify very well whether the multiple devices that access. The multiple access using the static IP, I believe the IP can be used by more than one device. So that's why it happened in several pages here. Number two, members use either laptops or their phones to vote, and we are allocated a laptop in the chambers for voting. On the implication of the oath, I understand, Honorable Senator Matthew, that I know the implications, and on the number of MCAs who voted from the system, I can say as an administrator there are 33 votes casted, and the authenticity of the votes, because there are 4 contesting the votes, is what as an expert at the back end, since I was not in the chambers, cannot confirm. When the members take their stand, they will confirm whether they voted or somebody actually voted on their behalf. On confirmation of votes within, that one I think I've talked about. There is an issue about the firewalls, and I can confirm.
Mr. Witness, is it possible to mention the question that you are responding to? The senator who asked the question.
I didn't note the name of the senators.
Oh.
So I'll just answer them. So on the password generation, where I used the IDs, that was the easiest method for my honorable members of KERICHO County Assembly to remember immediately the ID because of the timelines of 5 minutes. I've realized the Senate has got a voting system that is taking a minute because there are these electronic voting machines. Should they have had the electronic voting machines, it could have been faster. So I was thinking of the best way, they can easily log in and cast their votes with the shortest time possible. The issue of alternative voting when the electronic system failed is available in the standing orders where they could have taken a roll call, but at that time the results didn't indicate that there was an error or there was a problem with the votes, since it recorded 33 votes. So the other members who didn't vote remain in pending. That shows they didn't trigger the voting pattern, and that is why under the display dashboard, we only have 0-0 because they didn't log in to either abstain in the system or vote no. I think I can answer those ones. I'm not chosen to answer. I'm trying to. The decision to use data processor, the decision to use data processor or data experts. I think I didn't get that question correct.
Honorable Senators, you know, if the questions have not been answered, it is you to make the decision at the end of the day in one or the other. So you cannot force him to give you answers that he doesn't have. So if you are done, then we can step you down and yes, order, Senators, order. Yes, Counsel for the Governor, what is it?
Mr. Speaker, sir, there was
Order,
one question.
members.
There was one question directed at us by Honorable Karongo on whether the part of the MCAs we are contending did not vote are part of the 9 who were voted using the same IP address. And we want to confirm 3 of them are there. The first one is at page 31, MCA marked as 2022-029-61-110 nominated. That's Edna Chepkemoi. So we are looking at volume 2, page 31. I am looking at the column marked MCAs. Volume 4A, sorry, volume 4A. Or let me use the column of word, page 31, volume 4A. Let me use the column for word. So there is an MCA for Kipkelion, and then below the Kipkelion MCA is nominated. That is the one, the nominated one is Edna Chepkemoi, who was voted for, and the affidavit is at page 128 in volume 1 of the governor's bundle. Then the next MCA is in the column of words is Cheplanget, and that is Hilary Bosuben Kibet. And this affidavit is at page 121 of volume 1. The third one is at page 32 and is the MCA for Kukerwet, Martin Cheruyot Kiplangat, and this affidavit is at page 121 of volume 1. Thank you, Honorable Senators and Mr. Speaker, sir.
Well, I was of the impression that the main witness will maybe take time to respond to the many queries, but I'm told he opted to leave it at that. Okay, so were there any queries directed to any other party other than the witness? So that we proceed. Okay, so then we will. Now, honorable senators, before, yes.
There was a query that I raised, but I thought both parties would respond to it on whether we should take the logs as they are, considering they were extracted by one party without the involvement of the other party. And I referred to the 2017 presidential election, where some precedent was established. So I don't know whether the Governor's Council is happy with that.
My observation on that. Now, before we allow the team from the County Assembly call the next witness, there was a request that had been made by the Council for the Governor, and I want to proceed to make a ruling. Council, just take your seat, please.
Okay.
What is your point of order?
Honorable Speaker, before you make that ruling for the application which was sought by the Governor's Council, Mr. Speaker, in your ruling yesterday, You indicated that Senate will make some determination on threshold before voting on the main impeachment charges. Mr. Speaker, listening to the witness, the examination in chief, the close examination, the examination, and also maybe point of clarification from the senators. Honorable Speaker, before we make this decision tomorrow, whether there was threshold in the county assembly, we didn't need an expert, Honorable Speaker, to assist us to verify the information that has been brought to this House, Mr. Speaker. You know, the side of the county assembly, they are defending the voting was right. The other side, the governor's side, they are also defending their goal that the voting did not go anywhere. So, Mr. Speaker, because the Senate leaders should be assisted, I'm not doing this application to assist either sides, but for the benefit of the Senate of the Republic of Kenya, because tomorrow we'll be making a very, very critical decision whether to allow the impeachment process to proceed, to vote for the impeachment charges or not, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have an ICT authority in Kenya which has very, very informed experts. So, Mr. Speaker, we can get someone who can be able to look at all these ID, IP addresses, all these credentials, so that, Mr. Speaker, as we make our decision, we can make an informed decision. So if we get a neutral expert, then we can be better pleased, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Now, Honorable Senators, this is my ruling on the request made by the Council for the Governor, and also to address the concerns raised by Senator Kajwang and also the Senator for Meru. Now, Honorable Senators, at the start of the proceedings this morning, Counsel for the Governor, Mrs. Katwa Kigen, and Peter Wanyama made an application to be allowed to call the expert evidence of one Mr. Job Okun Oguya, whom they claimed to be an information technology expert. Counsel sought to be allowed to rely on evidence on behalf of the Governor on the report prepared by the said Mr. Oguya on 25th of August 2025, and his affidavit sworn at Nairobi on the 27th of August 2025. Now, Counsel for the Governor asserted that they had served the Counsel for the County Assembly by email with a report and affidavit sought to be relied on, and that the hard copies were available for circulation to honorable senators. Counsel for the County Assembly opposed the application, arguing that this was an attempt by the governor's side to introduce new evidence at this late time during the impeachment trial, and that this would be prejudicial to the County Assembly's case. Honorable Senators, you will recall that I undertook to make a ruling on the application after having sight of the document sought to be relied on by the Governor. I have since had sight of the documents. They are contained in a bundle titled Volume 5, His Excellency Eric Kipkoech Mutai Defense Response, Affidavit of Okun Job Oguya. In the affidavit, Mr. Oguya deposed that he holds a Bachelor of Science, Computer Science degree from Kenyatta University, having graduated in the year 2014, and that he's currently the project consultant, Security and Networks at Cyber Hub Systems, with the mandate to provide high-level threat detection penetration testing for clients. He further deposed that he was requested to analyze the extracts of the system audit logs, which are contained in Volume 4A of the County Assembly documents, and was also given the affidavit of Mr. Alfred Kimtai Korir, contained in Volume 2 of the County Assembly documents, to make observations on the matter. Honorable Senators, Mr. Oguya deposed that he undertook a cybersecurity audit of KERICHO County Assembly electronic voting system and made observations contained in a report, which report was also attached. Now, Honorable Senators recall that yesterday, in disallowing the preliminary objection raised by the Governor's side, contesting the voting system and the threshold of the vote at the KERICHO County Assembly, I ruled, among other things, that no summary determination of this matter is possible without these witnesses taking the stand to give evidence and being subjected to cross-examination in the usual manner. I further ruled that the only way for the Senate to determine this question is to receive evidence on the matter, evaluate the same, and make a finding one way or the other on the preponderance of evidence. Now, Honorable Senators, Rule 10 of the Rules of Procedure for Hearing and Determination of the proposed removal from office by impeachment of a governor provides as follows. The Senate may, at the request of the County Assembly or the governor, invite or summon any person to appear and give evidence before the Senate. Rule 2 of the said rules make it very clear that the impeachment proceedings are an investigation to determine whether the particulars of the allegations against the governor have been substantiated. Now, Honorable Senators, on the basis of the importance of the question on the voting system and the voting process that was undertaken, and noting the ruling that I made yesterday, and on the strength of Rule 10 of the Rules of Procedure, I will allow the application by counsel for the governor to admit the affidavit by Mr. Job Okun Oguya and his report on the cybersecurity audit on the KERICHO County Assembly electronic voting system. I find that the opposition by the County Assembly to the application is outweighed by the need for the Senate to get to the root of the voting system and the voting process. No prejudice will be suffered by the County Assembly if the Senate establishes the truth on this matter. I also note that for similar reasons yesterday, I allowed the County Assembly's application to provide documentation which had been referred in its submitted documents but had not been attached. Now, Honorable Senators, in allowing the governor to call its expert witness, I direct that the governor's side will have to accommodate the witness within its time as already allocated. The evidence of the witness will also be limited to matters raised in the evidence of the County Assembly. The witness will be subject to cross-examination in the usual manner. Honorable Senators, I also wish to make an additional ruling on this matter. It has become apparent from hearing the evidence so far adduced in this case and the examination, cross-examination, and re-examination of Mr. Alfred Korir Kimtai, Head of Information Communication and Technology, KERICHO County Assembly, as well as the request by the governor's application to call the expert witness, that the Senate requires neutral, impartial, and dispassionate advice on the matter away from the witnesses of the parties. Indeed, this was referred to by Senator Moses Kajwang, MP, when seeking clarification from the County Assembly witness. Senator Kajwang reminded the Senate of its power to summon any person to assist it in its investigation in an impeachment process. The Senate has indeed invoked this jurisdiction before. For this reason, therefore, I direct the Office of the Clerk to immediately contact the Information Communication Technology ICT Authority of Kenya and request the authority to provide the Senate with 2 ICT experts to come and assist the Senate in this matter. I direct that the Office of the Clerk provides facilities for the 2 experts from the ICT Authority to sit with the head of ICT of KERICHO County Assembly and the ICT expert called by the governor, together with the representatives, whether council or otherwise, of the County Assembly and the governor, and for the experts from the ICT Authority to prepare a report for consumption of the Senate. The report, which must be brief and concise, should be submitted to the Office of the Clerk of the Senate not later than 6 p.m. today, Thursday, the 28th of August, 2025, and must answer the following questions. 1, did an electronic voting process take place using the system? 2, is the number of MCAs who voted on the impeachment of the governor verifiable? Number 3, was it possible for any MCA or any other person who had a link to vote on the motion on behalf of an MCA or another MCA? Number 4, how many MCAs voted in the affirmative on the motion to impeach the governor? Number 5, is there any evidence of multiple voting or other compromise of the voting system and/or impropriety in the voting system or process. It is so ordered. Next witness. You may, Senator Boni.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for that. And my mind is telling me there is something that the parties might lose if we only receive a written response to the issues you have raised. It might offer them a better opportunity, Mr. Speaker, if we allow that expert takes the witness stand, so that besides responding to the 5 issues you've raised, the parties be given an opportunity to interrogate him further. I believe if we do that, we'll better be enriched, Mr. Speaker.
The only person who can table this is the one who would have prepared it, and he can only do that when he takes the oath, tables this, go take us through it, and if you need to get any clarification from the experts, you certainly will be at liberty to do so. Thank you. Next witness.
So, Mr. Speaker, before the next witness comes, may I request that you direct the governor's side to give us a copy of their expert affidavit and report? We don't have it.
One was transmitted to you via email, but you can be served with a hard copy right now.
Thank you.
You may proceed to exchange documents. Let's hear the next witness.